Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you how to add macros to your Huion or Art Graphics tablet using AutoHotKey. If you're an artist like me, creating original character illustrations, 3D game assets, and concept art, having custom macros can help you improve your workflow. Before we jump into this tutorial, make sure to hit that like button or comment if you have any questions. Plus, I live stream my own artwork regularly. It's mostly a work in progress on the show. If you subscribe, you won't miss any out of my art latest creations. Alright, let's dive in. First things first, you'll need to install AutoHotKey. If you haven't already, head over to their official website and grab the latest version. While we're at it, you'll also need your art tablet drivers up to date, or if haven't already installed. However, I'll just mention on the screen where you can download it. For this demonstration, I'll be using a Huion tablet. Now, I highly recommend using a code editor like Notepad for editing your scripts. Notepad++ is fantastic, but you could also use Visual Studio Code or any other text editor you're comfortable with. This way, you have a better transparency and control over your macros editing than with the default Notepad. With everything set up, it is time to create your first .ahk scripts. You can manually add key commands to your script by referring to the guides on the official AutoHotKey website. If you're not into writing code yourself, you can even use ChatGPT to generate scripts for you. It is a quick and easy way to get things done. But here's a cool alternative. I've actually created a visual script generator for .ahk macros. I've uploaded it on GitHub for you all to download. This app allows you to create scripts visually without needing to write any code. Let me show you how it works. Keep in mind that this only generates time-based multiple key command stroke actions. It is not recorded-based, mouse control, or automatically type stuff for you. However, if you wish to make your own upgrades on this script in the future, it is open source, so feel free to add more features to it. The application is being run by the same .ahk script, but converted into an exe. This is why you need an AutoHotKey in order to get this thing to run correctly. But the whole purposes of this is to basically generate a new .ahk file for you, so you don't have to do all the hard work. So, first things first, you're going to type any name which you want. So you can do call it let's just say, my first script. And the number of key commands is basically how many you want. You want 4, you want 5. If you're going to do 1, then then it's kind of pointless, because the whole purpose is just it has a time-based, just to shoot down multiple key commands, so you don't actually have to do Control A, Control C, or Control T, but if you need to do those 4 steps all at once to get your results, that's basically what it's supposed to do. So, I would say I want 4. And do I want anything to loop? Well, by default, if you put 0, nothing won't loop, but if you put 3, that means it will repeat this chain of commands 3 more times. But for this one, I'm just going to hit 0. And you can also hit change export location and browse through to see if you want to say, hey, I don't want this to be in this environment, But yeah, something cool. And then you hit next. So basically, it'll generate and show you how many key commands you can do. If you want to go back and change it, you can say, I want to do, let's say 6 now. 6 more will be added. However, this would wipe out any previous alternative changes you had, so make sure you actually know that you actually want to do 4 or 5 or 6 before proceeding. So, we'll just head back forward just to show. See, it'll just turn back. And after that, you can see a bunch of lists of key commands you can do. Unfortunately, the only key commands that I did not put down, or I thought I probably wouldn't need, is the mouse clicks and which is the left mouse and the right click mouse, because I know some applications you could just have it automatically right click and then you can have certain key commands to trigger that. But I don't know. In the future, I may update this with the left mouse and right mouse trigger. For this demonstration, I'm just going to put all of them Control N and Control N. And what does it do? Basically, it will open either File Explorer many times or your browser. And lastly, for the delay MS, basically what it means is like how long per second you want this to trigger. Usually 100 will generally mean 0.1 seconds. If you want to do it 1 second, then it would be 1000 ms. If you want to do it like, do this command 5 seconds, then it will release it in 5 seconds. But for this, we're going to do 0.1 seconds to show you how fast this can be. And then the last one, we'll just wait for 5 seconds, so you see how it would work. And this is a debug tool, so basically if I check this, that means when it generates, it will just let me know that every step it's going to make when it creates the, make sure if the code works fine, in a way sense. Alright, so I'm going to hit generate, so now the debug will say, hey, this is what's going to input. For readable is this, so for raw data will be, caret up, and then N, and then delay 100. So the up caret means control in AutoHotKey script stuff. So they have their own language how it describes that. So if you're curious at how to build your own language with this, you can. And then next I'll just tell you like information, and then see 5000, and it'll successfully say it makes your script. So yippee. So after that, you can just like go back and hit exit. Now that you've got your .ahk script ready, let's convert it into a .exe file so that your art tablet can use it. Make sure you've opened the compile from the AutoHotKey dashboard. Alright, so in order to put in your .ahk script into this converter, you're going to hit browse, and we're going to select our example for our .ahk script. And then it will show right in the source over here. I would recommend leaving it to the default compiler directive file. So what does it mean is that it will match the destination where your script is. So whenever you find your export, your .exe, it will be right where you originally located save it. But you can always change it by going to browse, and if you want to move it somewhere else. But I recommend to stick with the destination. And for this over here, by default, it will show up like this with a 32.exe. You can edit the default settings and save options as default. But for me, I saved it as default as 64 because I'm running like a 64-bit operating system. So I would recommend 64 since that's what most operating systems by default, but double check if you're running 32, but I'm highly less likely. There's not many laptops and computers these days using 32, but usually the 64 should work fine. And I would leave the compression to none, and yeah, see there's also alternatives here, and that's it, and you can just hit convert, and the thing will convert successfully. To double check if your script actually works and ensure that it runs well, you can always hit the .exe, which actually will run your macros command. So let's just run and see what happens. And pretty much it runs almost everything. You got my extra, because all of it I've written down was basically all control N's. So it did hit all the control N's, so therefore, yeah, technically it did work. So yeah, everything's working fine. Once the conversion is done, open up your Art Tablet app and program the buttons to trigger your newly created macros. You'll want to choose the application you're using for drawing, whenever it's Photoshop, Clip Studio, or any other software. Now let's test the script to make sure everything's working perfectly. Alrighty, so I have launched my Huion tablet, and I'm showcasing this in the program called Paint Tool Sci, because this is where I mainly just draw and just paint my things. But I also use Clip Studio Paint from a certain time and that. But for this demonstration, I'm going to use my own macros key that I developed for my two buttons that help me make my stuff easier. So for starters, say for example, I want to make stuff like really easier and on a layer net, I could easily just like tap this macro key, which I'm going to press, and this will like highlight everything within an instant. So now it highlighted the whole line work here. So now all I have to do is tap this mask button, and right over here it successfully masked. And just in case if I want to do it manually, which the reason why I kind of want to do it manually I didn't want to do it manually anymore because it was a lot of key commands to just press that one button that I would kind of want, so I want to save like an extra seconds in advance, so I don't have to feel like moving my hands all the time. So for this one, I'll do Control A, Control T, then hit Enter. Then you kind of get masked, and you just mask it from there. But it saves a lot of time for me. And also, just in case if you don't see the mask, I can paint also under here too. So just like paint over here. And all I have to do is press the same macro key again. And I'll just highlight that, mask, and I can just easily delete the layer over here. And now I can just paint over it. So it's pretty much a useful tool for me because it just makes everything shading easier and clean without just worrying about going out of bounds and boundaries, and just have more freedom just to shift around how I want to do it. My second thing that I can do is that since Paint Tool Side doesn't natively have a easy way to copy and paste layers, I made a macros key to just instantly just duplicate the layers. So now I have layer 4 over here. So basically, if I were to duplicate this manually inside, I would have to do Control A, Control C, then Control V. And then I can continue to press Control V after that. But yeah, reason why, I don't know. But I did that anyways, just to make it easier for myself. But yeah, I know obviously other softwares like Photoshop and Clips has easy way to you can easily just duplicate and no problem, stuff like that. But you can also actually program things to make things more complex out of it. I'm just showing like an example of what simple stuff you can do that. But I'm considering in the future to possibly do something more with AutoHotKey when the time comes for me to explore around with other settings I could do with other 3D app programs like Substance Painter or perhaps Blender or maybe ZBrush. So because what you could do in ZBrush that usually it should work in AutoHotKey if you just program it to type BCB, which is basically your clay sculpt brush. You can just like easily just fetch it on your tap buttons over here, so you don't have to type BCB all the time and stuff like that. So there's plenty of ways you could use as useful examples. This is just like simply a tool just to help you out to make your life easier if you're tired just pressing like long key commands to achieve one goal. That's all for today's tutorial. If you found this guide on adding macros to your tablet with AutoHotKey helpful, be sure to give a like down below and subscribe for more art content, live streams, and tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Bye.